be doing a lot of talking, so I figured a bottle of water and maybe some cheap Walgreens cough drops would be a good idea. I want to talk to you, America, friends, family, neighbors, law enforcement, armed military. I want to talk to anybody that'll listen. I want to talk to you about the Boston Marathon bombings. I want to talk to you about what really happened in Boston and why it's so hard for people to put two and two together. Now, before we even had martial law in the city of Boston, they call it shelter in place. I call it martial law. Call it what you will. I just want to center that up just a little bit more. Did I go the wrong way? Nah. Fuck it, we're good enough. You know what I'm saying? This isn't a major production, guys. What this is a concerned citizen coming to you with pertinent information. I have been taking notes here, ladies and gentlemen. And you'll see here that, I mean, pages and pages, oh, let's see this, pages and pages of notes so far. We're on page 27 of notes. We've only got to 8:05 Eastern Standard Time, the morning of martial law or shelter in place. You know, to me, there was a lot of red flags before this thing even ever went down with the martial law or shelter in place. We have the New York Post receives pictures from the FBI, and they take those pictures, they put them in print with the words bag men. Okay, comes out those aren't the right guys, or it turns out maybe not the patsies the FBI decided they wanted to use. So moving right along, later that day, which was the Wednesday, which would be the 17th of that month, April, Fox News was also given photos of two suspects. Now, these were the same photos. Now, Fox News and amongst other news stations were stating to everybody that FBI had released the photos to the media and to law enforcement, but had not released them to the public. And the reason for that was some bullshit excuse that they didn't want to alert anybody or make it easier for somebody to run. Then, later that night, Fox News goes on to describe it on the Sean Hannity show. Now, what he does here is he doesn't describe the people per se, like what kind of hair color they have, what kind of skin they have, whether they have facial features or facial hair, things of that nature. What they describe is the clothes they're wearing, okay? And what they describe is the men that are in the bagman photo from the New York Post picture, okay? So, moving right along. Remember, these photos were given to the media by the FBI. Now the New York Post is being sued for posting them on their New York Post, okay? See what I'm saying here? After the FBI gave them the photos. And then the backstory came out that they were releasing certain photos to find out where the leak in the FBI was. Well, I'm sure they found out where it was because, what was it, about a month after the bombings, two of the arresting officers on the Special Forces FBI unit, which will be posted on my channel at some point down the road, were mysteriously killed falling out of an helicopter during training of learning how to rappel out of a fucking helicopter onto a ship. And I'm sorry, but if you read the article that I will eventually post, or at least read to you, they explain to you that these gentlemen were the elite of the elite. They were trained like Navy SEALs and blah, 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 blah. Well, if they're trained like fucking Navy SEAls, why in the fuck? Why? Why in the fuck do they need to learn how to rappel? They should already know how to do this. You see the FBI doing that shit all the fucking time in the movies, okay? And those are just actors. So those... Go gadget cough drop. Excuse me, sorry about that. So these guys should have already known how to rappel, okay? That's just a given. So, bing, red flag. You know what I'm saying? Red flag, just like any... but I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. So what I was speaking about was the FBI releasing the photos and the things that have gone crazy. And then, you know, the CNN reported that there was a suspect taken. And they were within, what, an hour and a half after being told on CNN that the suspect was at the courthouse in Boston. Oh no, now there's a bomb threat. And then guess what? After that, nobody ever sees a suspect. And guess what? Nobody saw a suspect previous to that either. They said that it was just a false alarm, that the bomb threat was insignificant, that nothing was going to happen, blah, 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 blah. But you never hear anything about that suspect again until CNN retracts their statement. So, moving right along, something fishy once again. You hear about the Alabama coach who was on the media and in print and on the internet stating that he heard before the bombings over the loudspeakers, do not be alarmed, this is just a drill, where it's only practice, don't worry, everything's okay, this is just a drill. And then fucking guess what? That's because with most false flag terror attacks, and you need only Google the definition of false flag to find out what I'm talking about. But in the last 10 to 20 years, that's been a staple of a false flag terror attack, is to have drills on the same day that they have the attack. Same thing happened at 7/7 and the tunnel bombings. Same thing happened on 3/33 and that attack. Same thing happened on 9/11. Okay. Same thing happened when that guy went. What was it? Over there. It wasn't fucking Switzerland. I'm sure somebody's gonna comment down here. You know that. Oh, it was this. That was Poland, I think, or whatever. The guy went off and just started shooting fucking school kids and shit. And turns out that they had a drill the same day in the same city. And the drill, the drill with all of these has always been the same thing. That they were drilling for the same thing that happened that day. Now people are like, oh, you're crazy, or why would they do that? And here's why. Because you're already training for something that's about to happen. So when you've got all these people out there, not only do you cut down the casualties from this huge attack, but you have people in place already. You see how it coincides there? And so it's almost like nobody would look badly on the drill because, well, thank goodness that drill was happening, because if that drill weren't happening, we wouldn't have had all those people to help out. Wow, that sounds funny, huh? Anyways, moving right along. We haven't even gotten to martial law yet. Oh my God, there's so much other things to be said about that, but I'm just going to go into this and start reading my notes here. You see, it's just college ruled paper, you know, and my own personal notes here, you know. And so, let's go ahead and start right here on the inside cover. And what do we got here? We got the Fox News ticker on 4/17/2013 all the way through the martial law. It says, anyone, and I'm quoting right now, quoting, anyone with information about the attacks is asked to call 1-800-494-TIPS, TIPS. Now, the funny thing about that is that the next line on the ticker also says the agency is reminding people that no piece of information or detail is too small. Everything I say right there is a quote. So let me start the quote over. Anyone with information about the attacks is asked to call 1-800-494-TIPS. Here's another quote. The agency is reminding people that no piece of information or detail is too small. So they're saying that no information piece is too small. Then on the day that they identify who these fucking bombers are, they say to us, they say exactly this. For clarity, these images should be the only ones, and I emphasize the only ones that the public should view to assist us. Other photos should not be deemed credible, and they unnecessarily divert public attention in wrong direction and create undue work for vital law enforcement resources. That's the next day, April 18th, 2013, at the FBI press conference. And so here's something else I wrote down. I wrote down possible suspects leaked to media were not the bag men, which made Fox and New York Post look like dumbasses for reporting it. Also, CNN reported on Wednesday the 17th that a suspect had been apprehended and was at the courthouse. Then there was a bomb threat that cleared the courthouse, and suddenly CNN retracts a statement. Not to mention the Saudi national from earlier in the week, who is no longer a suspect but gets deported the next week because of national concerns. Was this done so that the brothers wouldn't think much of their photos on TV? You know, like another false positive, as they had created earlier in the week, so the boys wouldn't run when they saw their picture. You remember when they said that the younger boy, Dzhokhar Tsarnaev, had gotten the text message from his friend, hey, the guy on TV looks just like you, and he sent back a text that said, LOL. And also at the same time, this discredits the media. So, let's go ahead and start. We're going to start with the precursors here to the tape. So, okay, so 7:50 Boston time, man is arrested in a rifle scare, Mississippi man. Turns out that was wrong. Some more false reporting, and another false positive. Then at 7:55 Eastern Standard Time, Boston police retract statement about FBI holding a presser. They were supposed to have a press conference that night. Oh my God. God damn it. So, we're going to have to close for a second here because we're going to have to get ready for the next video. You know, YouTube standards only allows peons like myself to do about 15 minutes at a time. So let's go ahead and stop now for a second, and we'll get right into the next one, moving right into yeah, let's just move along. We're going to end this video. I'm going to start on volume 2.